Hello and welcome to the Art Hitman. I'm Perry McCants and today I'm going to show you how to draw Spider-Man 2099. So let's begin. Let's go ahead and if you notice I have my page vertical instead of horizontal. This is the way the pose is going to be set up so that you can get all of the figure on the page. So let's start off by dividing our page in half, putting a line down the center. Once you've gotten your line down the center of the page, let's go straight across vertically. And please help me to get 10 comments and 10 likes for these how to draw videos. And let's lightly put his head in. Immediately after that, we're going to put the 2 lines for his neck in. And for the base of his neck, put an oval here. Now we're going to go ahead and immediately go ahead on and measure his torso, taking the top and the bottom, index and thumb, turning it this way, marking it where the chest is going to be, and then move it down where the waist is going to be. Now, based on these 2 lines, I can draw a line for the chest and for where his torso is going to be, and waist. Let's go ahead and sketch that in lightly. Okay, now right underneath the base of his neck, you want to put a line here, and this is going to be where his shoulders are going to be. And then put an oval shape for his waist. Immediately after that, we're going to go ahead and put an arc in here for his shoulder. And then let's go ahead on and put circles in for his shoulders. Put one here and one on the right. Now from here we can determine where we want to position his arm. So his left arm is going to come up, and you can draw it to his elbow just before this line here, the center line, and then on an angle like this. And this is where his wrist is going to be. And then we're going to put the shape of his hand in. So we're going to go ahead and put a rectangular shape and a circle for his thumb. And then we're going to put a line here, and then this is where his thumb is going to end. Right here. All right, and then we could put a circle for his index finger, come up, and then we're going to put the top portion of his fingers in, and where the hooks is going to go, where his fingers, claws are going to be. And then we're going to repeat the same thing for his middle finger, come up, over. This one is going to extend out a little past the index finger. And then we're going to put one more that's going to fall behind the other first 2. And then his pinky is going to come out a little bit and arc just like this. Now, for his left or right arm, we're going to come straight down over his body here. And what we want to do is we want to measure at this point from the elbow joint to just under where the shoulder is for his bicep. So we're going to come over here and we're going to mark it. Interestingly enough, the line that divides the page in half is where his circle is going to go for his elbow line. As notice it's slightly moved down than this one. Then what we're going to do is come over and we're going to put his wrist in, and the way we can measure that is go by the ball joint here and here, and then mark it where our index finger is. Okay, so this is where his wrist is going to go. Now, for his hand, we're going to do the same process and mark in actually a square shape, because his hand is actually flat here as opposed to being 3/4 here, or his profile, sorry. So you want to put this square in. Now, for his thumb, you always want to put a circle right next to the wrist. This is the wrist, and this is where the thumb is going to go. Off that circle I just did for his thumb, we're going to come up around and come around like this, and it's going to close this portion of his thumb. And then we could bring the hook around, indicating where the hook is going to be off of the thumb. Now for the rest of his fingers, we're going to put a line here, 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 and here. And what we want to do is have his index finger come up and around. His middle finger is kind of going to go straight, but it's going to curve just a little bit. Then the ring finger is going to come in around just like this. And the pinky is going to kind of have a circle here, so it's going to come around like this. Now, we have our skeletal structure in place. We're going to continue on where his legs are going to be. So we're going to go ahead and sketch a circle for where we want his leg position. I just sketched in his knee. This is where his knee is going to go. The leg actually is going to extend out and around just about here, right behind where the waist is. We're going to go ahead for his ankle and put a circle in for his ankle. And we're going to go ahead and box his foot in. For his foot, the shape is going to be triangular. So it's going to go up to a point like this, down, and it's going to come to a point and swing around just like that. We're going to put everything light at this point. Nothing is etched in stone, so we don't want to put too much detail in early. Now we're going to put his other leg is going to extend past this arm and come down about here. We're going to close this in a circle and come around to the bottom of the figure. And notice how you can see through everything right now. This is so that we can kind of map out what we want the figure doing. Now we're going to close this portion of it, bring this around to the circle. That's where the knee is going to form, and then we're going to come down just like this. Draw a circle for the calf, and then we're going to come around to the bottom where his ankle is going to be. Now, off of his ankle, we're going to measure this. Let's back up. Just below where this circle is for this kneecap, we're going to come here and measure the ankle, and you see it's exactly perfect. And then we're going to have the foot come down just like this. And notice there's a border to the end of the page. You don't want to go off the end of the page and chop his foot off, and come over. And then we're going to put the heel in here for his foot. Now, we just completely done the skeletal structure on Spider-Man 2099. Now I'm going to start putting in more of a mannequin structure. Now, for this portion of it, we're going to start laying in a little bit of detail. So let's begin with his head. We're going to bring a line that's going to come to a point, and let's put that there. This is indicating where his nose is going to be, and then the rest of his head is going to fall like this. Okay? Now from here, where the neckline is, we're going to draw a line that extends from here to here. And this is going to be where his jawline is going to be. Just like that. Then we're going to come around this whole entire form, do the back of his head shape here, and then come down for his neck. Now his neck, we're going to put in, of course, the tracheate line, and then we're going to put a line here. And this extends behind the ear. Lightly put that in. And then we have the other side of that. It's going to extend here. Now for his neck is pretty muscular, so we're going to come down and around over the shoulder and shape it just like this and come down. Now what we want to do is we're going to start with the left arm. We're going to start with the shoulder. The shoulder line of the muscle is going to come in and around. Notice I'm curving it right to this line indicated here. Come in for the inside, is going to be slightly higher, and stop it right before you get to the line. Now for his bicep and tricep, let's go ahead and put an oval in, and let's go ahead and sketch that in really quick. That way we know where the bicep should end, and you're going to have that bicep come around just like this. The bicep and tricep, which is on here, is going to extend down and it's going to go right to where the elbow is. We're going to begin putting the forearm in, so come right behind where this elbow line is, and come around and go right to where the wrist is, just like that. And we're going to come in for this side and close it as well. And now the hand is already pretty much constructed here, so we want to go ahead and outline that by taking the line and coming here around, and then put Spider-Man's claw in, just like that. And then right here we're adding just a little bit of detail here. And we're going to come at this part and close this and put his index finger in, and the claw an extension at the end of his finger. And then the middle finger, likewise, but it's going to extend past the index finger a little bit more. And then of course the ring finger is going to fall behind. You're not going to see that as much. And then we have the pinky finger that comes around like this. And we're going to shade that one in because it's actually in shadow and fall underneath the hand itself. Now we can go ahead and begin with his leg, his left leg. We're going to go ahead and get his leg shape outlined here. So we're going to go around this circle. If you notice, I'm doing a flat here, and then I'm going to come in and construct the kneecap. Put the kneecap, a little bit of indication line there. And the inside of the calf is going to be lower than the outside, so I'm going to go ahead and come around to the ankle just like this. Notice I came down and over. For the outside of the calf, it's going to be slightly higher. So we're going to come in and go around just like this. And remember, when you're rendering or drawing, lightly sketch this stuff in. That way it's not permanent. And for his foot, you want to come in and around, close the front, and come to the other side, and bring it around just like that. Now for the inside of his leg, you want to come around and just stop that right there. For the bottom portion, you're going to come in right here, and then come over right here, just like this. Now we're going to move over to his right arm. For his right arm, you want to bring this line around, just like I did with this arm, and come right to this line that indicates the outside of his muscles here. and then do the same thing for the inside, and then stop slightly. And the same way we did over here, put an oval shape and indication for where his bicep is going to go. We can go in there and sketch that in and have that arm cut around right to where this circle is indicated. So this is the map for that. And then you want to have the bicep come out and come around, and then it's going to come around for the elbow just like this. So the shape goes in, around, straight over, and then on an angle for the elbow. Now this muscle that comes over like this, and it's going to come around and go down to his wrist just like that. Okay, out of this portion is going to be off the elbow, but the muscles, but the forearm is going to come around and come right to his wrist like this. And for this, we can go ahead and draw his hand. So off of the circle, we can close the thumb portion, come around, and then draw the hook. And then we can put the thumb detail in and connect the line from this over here to this circle where the ball joint is. And then bring this around for the index finger. We're going to come up and go over, and then off the edge is going to be where the claw is going to go, just like this. The middle finger is going to be the same way, and then have an angle over just like this. The ring finger is going to come around similarly, and then bring that in just like this. The pinky finger is going to completely be collapsed, and we're not going to see as much as that. Now, come over just like this. Now for his right leg, we're going to have it come down and do the kneecap, come in like this on an angle. We're going to sketch this in just like this and go under the arm. This line is going to come in and stop. It's not that much detail here, and then come around just like that. Okay, for his calf, we're going to come around this circle, come in, go straight down to the ankle. Repeat the same thing for the outside. Come down to the edge of the foot or where the toe is, close that off, come right back up. Now we just completely did the exterior and most of the joints that's coming in. Now we're going to move in and add a little more detail on the inside. So let's come across his shoulder and then come down in the center just like this. Repeat the same thing for the right side. And this where this connects, these lines here, and then right in here is going to be a line that comes up, and it's usually another line here. So let's add that. And I don't want to go too crazy with the chest area because he does have the Spider-Man logo here, and I want to leave room for that so we don't want to have a whole lot of detail there. You won't be able to understand what's going on once we go to draw that. And same thing in here. Now, what I'm going to do at this point is we can start going ahead and adding these spikes that's on the outside of his arm. Let's get that done. So let's come down just below where the ball joint is, and we're going to put an arc here, or we can call it shark's fin, and then do the same thing here. And repeat the same thing for this part. And just off the ball point, we're going to come out around like this. And then do the same thing here. Now, we're going to go ahead and switch pencils and come up to the mask portion of Spider-Man. And we're going to go ahead and put his mask in. For his mask, it comes to a point at the nose. And then lightly come around on the arc, just like you would do an ordinary Spider-Man where a goggle piece goes, and come around just like this. And it kind of comes up towards his nose right here. So it's like a C shape. And then you want to come down, and then there's a little triangle that goes in here just like this. Now for the other detail, there's a little piece that comes up like almost like a little devil's horn that comes right out of that. And then what you want to do is you want to come around 4 times. It's one that comes around like this, that's 1, 2, and they follow one another. 3, and then the final one is going to be 4. So they kind of go in an arc like this. And we can clean this up later. You can always go back and clean things up once you're finalizing it. So that's the mask portion. And then we're going to go ahead and then let's work on the spider on the chest. For the chest, it's a line that extends over just like this, and you're going to put an arc on the middle of his chest and then come up on the other side. Now the top portion of that, it comes up the shoulder and around off the back, just like this. Repeat the same thing here. It's going to come up off the chest and around the back. Now, once you get the second contour line, this line is going to follow his forearm shape, which is right here. And it's going to come around just like this, down to his wrist. And then after his wrist is in, he actually has an arrow that's pointing in this direction. So you can just put half of an arrow in and it comes in like that. Okay. Now for this portion of it, we're going to come around off the chest. And then you will come down the entire part of the arm, just like we did his left arm. And come around this way. And for this side, we actually see the entire arrow though. So you want to come to the center and just draw an arrow on his hand. Lightly put it in. And then add the detail once it's completed. Now, he doesn't have a whole lot of detail on his legs and all the rest of his costume is dark. So we're going to put his eyes in. For the eyes, we're going to come to the center, just like this, almost making an angry face. Then there's almost like an arrow shape that goes just like this. And it comes down and then it repeats itself and comes down to the center. I'm going to do the same thing here. Create a line here, come over, up, and then there's an arrow shape. Let's bring this line across here and then come down just like that, over. And these angles are just pretty much arrows, so you can always go back in and kind of sketch these in and then make these lines connect here. Now he has a nose portion of the arachnid logo on his chest that comes right under here. And then there's a portion that kind of closes out like that around the head shape. And do the same thing for the other side. And then the logo continue down like this. And then on this portion of it, he has spider legs that's under his nose. And the spider legs kind of come in like this and go around. And it goes down to about here. Repeat the same shape here, over, and then stop. And this one goes behind the leg, so we don't see that one. Then of course he has another leg that comes around like this. It's 4 of them total. And close this off like that. And the rest of it you don't see. All right, now we're gonna add a little bit of muscle tone, bring this muscle in right here, this curve I'm putting in, and just have it come up like that. We're gonna put a kneecap here, and we're gonna draw his calf muscle in. And draw the portion in. And then also, we're gonna have this line come in here. And we're gonna fix and add a little bit of detail to his forearm muscle. This portion comes around and go over like this. And same thing for this side. This has a muscle that comes around like that. If you just drawn with me up to this point, I just put all of the detail in. And now what I'm gonna do is go back and use an eraser, clean up all of these unwanted lines here. And at the end of the video, you can pause it and take a look at it.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe by clicking this round button at the bottom. Also, click one of the 2 videos at the top. Please like this video, tell a friend, and share it on Facebook. Thank you.
The Art Hitman